Disney is one of the biggest and most amazing companies in the world. From theme parks to movies and everything in between, you would be hard-pressed to grow up without being influenced by Disney in some way or another. For the most part, the messages and characters found in Disney movies are usually pretty positive, or that's what they want you to think. After some careful examination, we have identified a bunch of Disney movie heroes who aren't actually such good influences on kids, despite what Disney might have you believe, at the risk of ruining a few childhoods. Here's our list of 10 Disney movie characters that kids should not look up to. Belle. With internet favorite Emma Watson playing Belle in the new live-action Beauty and the Beast film, we realize we are taking a risk by critiquing Belle. We must admit that there are a lot of good aspects to Belle's personality, as she does a good job of making intelligence and literacy desirable traits for young girls. She even rejects the charming Gaston because he is a narcissistic jerk. The problem, however, comes when she agrees to be the Beast's prisoner in exchange for her father's life. This decision gives way to a very controlling and abusive relationship between the Beast and Belle. The two of them have some very tense and even violently explosive moments, all of which culminate in them falling in love. While this could be seen as a romantic tale, it also suspiciously reeks of Stockholm Syndrome, as Belle is, after all, in love with the one holding her prisoner. This one is tricky, but you definitely don't want to take any chances when it comes to messages of abuse in children's movies. Aladdin. Aladdin is undoubtedly one of Disney's greatest animated movies of all time, and the sequels are just as fun. The songs are great, the action is intense, and Robin Williams' genie is, well, genius. Unfortunately for Disney, a lot of parents began to wonder whether Aladdin was really the best hero figure for their young, impressionable children to be looking up to. Aladdin made it okay, and maybe even cool, to steal and break the laws. Yes, he was poor and was living in a world of oppression, but if you stop and think about it, he is singing and dancing his way through some major theft. Desperate times may call for desperate measures, but we aren't sure that young children would fully understand the intricate issues of class divisions and wealth distribution. Hopefully the upcoming live-action version of Aladdin does a better job of showing him as a balanced and complex character. Ariel. Ariel has long been described on the internet as a bad influence on young girls. The main explanation for this has usually been the issue of Ariel changing herself to please Prince Eric. But the real nasty message comes in what she sacrificed. She gave away her voice, the main thing she would need to communicate with Eric when she did meet him. Since communication is one of the most important part of any relationship, this isn't exactly a recipe for healthy love, and so, by the end of the movie, Ariel, having irreversibly changed herself for him, this is definitely not a message that we should be sending to our youth. And here's hoping the upcoming live-action version of this Disney classic deals with the issue a little better. Aurora. Right off the bat, it is probably tough to consider Aurora a good role model for kids simply because she is asleep for almost the entire film. In fact, she has only about 18 minutes of screen time, and her last line comes at the 40 minutes mark. But even in that short amount of time, she is able to demonstrate some less than desirable character attributes. Her entire personality seems to revolve around falling in love with a prince, and that's about it. She's a bad role model by way of being a total non-entity. In a time when the world is in need of strong female leaders, a character like Aurora really sends the wrong message. Perhaps it was a sign of the times in the 1950s, but we would like to think that if the story was rewritten today, Aurora, who is supposed to be the star of the show, would be given a more in-depth and interesting personality. As it stands, this is one movie that young girls don't need to see. Cinderella. It's hard to get too worked up about Cinderella because she was mostly trying to make the best of a bad situation. The girl went through a lot of hardship and still went on singing and smiling all along. Unfortunately for Cinderella, there are other aspects of her life that make her less than the ideal role model for young kids. First off, she is happy marrying someone she barely knows. Not a good message for young girls. Also, throughout the movie, Cinderella really doesn't take an active role in her own story. Whether it's the fairy godmother or her mice buddies, it's always the other characters who put everything into motion, while she just kind of waits for things to happen. This is a message of complacency that's not good for young children, who would be better off seeing characters take control of their own destiny. Nemo. Finding Nemo is one of Disney's biggest animated hits of all time, and its 2016 sequel, Finding Dory, has only continued the critical and commercial success. The story of Finding Nemo is fun and inspiring, but it may actually send a more negative message to kids than we thought. While Nemo's father, Marlin, is an amazingly devoted parent and a great role model, Nemo himself might be sending a less than ideal message to youngsters out there. Nemo has a lot of attitude, and his disobedience ends up putting him and his entire entire family in serious danger. Of course, there would be no story without his knack for getting into trouble. But we don't think that many parents will be fond of the idea of their kids running or swimming millions of miles away from home. Nemo may be the titular character, but it is Marlin who is the real hero and positive role model. Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell may be tiny, but her ability to have a negative influence on audience members is huge. She is very protective of Peter and has serious problems dealing with her jealousy. After Peter brings Windy Darling to Neverland, Tinkerbell tells the Lost Boys that she's a terrible quote-unquote windy bird and that they should shoot her down. If not for Peter's intervention, it's strongly implied that Windy would have fallen to her death. Essentially, Tinkerbell attempted to murder Windy because she didn't like the attention Peter was giving her. This criminal act, on top of her sassy and negative attitude, definitely makes it clear that she's not a good role model for young Disney viewers. Pinocchio. This one seems like an obvious choice, as the entire plot to the movie revolves around the main character's addiction to lying. Pinocchio, the quirky little wooden puppet, is brought to life by a fairy and told that he could become a real boy if he is brave, truthful, and unselfish. Those all sound like good attributes for kids to aspire to have, right? Unfortunately, this proves to be difficult for Pinocchio, as he's actually a compulsive pathological liar. As the story goes, his nose famously grows whenever he tells a lie, and he just can't help himself, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. Not even the less than subtle intervention from his quote-unquote conscience, Jiminy Cricket, can help him tell the truth. In the end, things somewhat work out for Pinocchio, sending the lasting message to kids that pathologically lying is okay and things will work out in the end. Elsa. Elsa is the main character of the hugely successful Disney movie Frozen. She was born with the magical ability to produce and manipulate ice and snow, and she is the envy of young girls worldwide. However, she may not be the greatest role model for young girls. In her youth, her inability to control her own powers caused some serious problems and nearly killed her own sister. As she grew up, Elsa developed disorders like paranoia and agoraphobia. The paranoia made her terrified of using her powers for fear of causing more incidents like before, and the agoraphobia caused her to shut herself away from society in order to ensure she didn't hurt anybody else. Frozen does end with Elsa coming out of her shell and conquering her issues, but so much of the movie is spent focusing on her problems that we worry just what kids will take away from Frozen. Maui. Moana looks like it's geared up to be Disney's last big animated hit of 2016. While there has been a lot of praise for its diverse subject matter, it seems like one of the characters might be more problematic. While it's great that Moana is the star, and it's nice for kids to see a non-white female character as the leading role in a movie, it's disappointing that Maui, the character played by superstar Dwayne Johnson, is a deeply stereotyped version of the sacred Polynesian ancestors. Maui is seen to be overweight and foolish, which have been long problematic stereotypes of the Polynesian culture. Disney had a chance to make a strong statement with Maui, but instead just added to the already problematic representations of the culture. The character may be fun, but kids would likely be better off without Maui influencing their understanding of Polynesian culture. On top of all this, the marketing for Moana caused uproar around Halloween, as the characters joined the quote-unquote "we are a culture, not a costume" conversation. So, there you have it, our list of 10 Disney movie characters that kids probably shouldn't aspire to be like. Do you agree with our list? Were there any that we missed? Let us know in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more fun videos like this one.